Michael Corbin, Shreveport City Councilman. Hey, Mr. Mike, welcome back to KEEL. How you doing?
Good morning, Robert. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Erin says I'm, well, actually someone even more higher ranking than Erin says that my idea about Cross Bayou, do we really need Cross Bayou? Let's take the $1 billion and renovate downtown. We've got the buildings, we've got the space. It's not like we don't have open area for renovation. She says that's a pretty good idea. You had an op-ed a couple of days ago that sort of touched on the same thing. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, not talking about Cross Bayou Point specifically, we have a history of doing spot development, just like what you've talked about this morning. Let's improve this, let's build this new, and we abandon something else. And I think it's with the changes in the casino rules that the legislature's approved, we ought to take this opportunity to really look at our whole riverfront area and define what it is, make it supportive of the casinos and tourism, and really take a wider angle view of how we want to develop and improve things, and instead of just zooming in on one particular area.
You in your piece, and you and I talked about this last week, we just didn't get you on the air. You talk about Expo Hall, because now the gambling boats can move to within 1,200 feet of where they currently exist. And you think, we have Expo Hall sitting there. Why don't we think about this? And it would give the city back the riverfront property, essentially, huh?
Well, that's true. I mean, Expo Hall is in a lease currently associated with some movie productions. If there's a way to end that lease for both parties involved and make that space available, then that may be a space that could be used for land-based gaming. My concern, and I've said this many times, I've said it to the mayor more than once, I'm concerned because our casinos are somewhat landlocked as opposed to the casinos on the other side of the river. And I want them to have every opportunity to take advantage of this change in the rules and keep the gaming revenue flowing to the city of Shreveport.
You also wrote in your piece that you've long thought that existing development along Clyde Fant from Lake Street to Caddo has suffered, and I'm quoting you here, from singular vision as monies were available for a specific project and not a cohesive vision for the entire area. I know that's something we've talked about a little bit this morning. What do we know about what the riverboats want to do yet? Do we know anything?
Well, I don't think that we do. I think that they have kept their plans, close to their chest for business purposes, and they needed to see that this legislation was going to make it through and be signed by the governor. Now that it has, if there have been some talks with the mayor's office, certainly that's not been shared with council members of the public yet, and I would hope there has been some initial conversations. But if they're going to compete, if the Samstown and El Dorado are going to be able to compete with those across the river and the casinos out of state and continue to draw, then I think they're going to have to look at their opportunities to have a roomier gaming floor and be able to take advantage of these changes.
You also talk about other uses for the Riverview Theater and the Scyport building. Tell me about some of those proposals, some of those, at least idea starters, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just want to get a conversation started about this. If you're a loyal symphony person or an opera person, then, you're looking for arrows to throw at me right now. But I think we need to really talk about, the age of this building, the utilization of the building, and does it make more sense to have development along that existing Shreveport riverfront area, and maybe help support these other organizations by, helping them with the costs that would be involved to be at the Strand Theater, to be at Municipal Auditorium, other buildings that are in better shape have had recent renovation. Because in many ways, the organizations that are drawing a crowd to Riverview Theater, they are drawing a crowd specifically for that event. You pull up at the front door, you valet park, you enjoy a night at the symphony or a night at the opera. You get back in your car and you leave. You're not milling about downtown. You're not milling about in the entertainment district, and creating that atmosphere that we seem to be looking for and we never seem to be able to get.
You know, Mike, in the most recent legislative session, when there was debate over whether or not to change the gaming rules that are in fact going to change, it doesn't occur to me that the gaming industry folks in Shreveport and Bossier were overtly jumping up and down, telling everybody what a good idea this was. Now, maybe behind the scenes they are, but you tell everybody, are the gaming companies here in Shreveport and Bossier City, are they really clamoring for more space?
Well, I think that we're going to find that out soon. You know, we have one casino located across the river that already has land-based gaming because they came in under the new rules. And they are the top revenue generator of our area casinos. So that tells me something, that people like that design, like that layout a little bit better. You know, it has to be incredibly expensive to maintain an operable riverboat that never goes anywhere. I mean, there are archaic rules. I'm sure it felt good to us to say, you know, gaming is on the river and it's not in our city, you know, some 20, 25 years ago when this all happened. But I think that if there are ways to do the land-based gaming and spread out their machines a little bit more, I believe that the casinos, whether short-term or long-term, are going to want to at least give it a serious consideration.